Hello, and welcome to English Conversation Pods. I'm Megan.
And I'm Jeremy. We are so happy you're here with us today.
This podcast is made especially for people who are learning English. We speak slowly and clearly, and we talk about topics that you can use every day in real life.
That's right. And today we have a really interesting topic. We are going to talk about one small word, just one word, but it is a very important word in English.
Yes, and that word is being.
Being. It is a small word, but English speakers use it all the time, every single day.
And it can feel a little confusing at first, but don't worry. We are going to explain it step by step with lots of easy, everyday examples.
That's right. So by the end of this episode, you will feel much more comfortable with the word being. So let's get started.
Okay, so our first segment today is called What Does Being Actually Mean?
Great. So let's start with the very basics. Being comes from the verb to be. You probably already know to be. Words like am, is, and are, those are all forms of to be.
Right, so being is just another form of that same verb.
Exactly. We use being when we want to talk about how someone is acting right now, in this moment. It's about their current behavior.
Yes, so let me give you an example. Imagine your friend is acting rude at dinner. You might say, he is being rude.
He is being rude. Okay, I like that example.
So here, being rude means he's acting rude right now, in this moment, at dinner tonight. But maybe normally he's a very nice person.
Okay, but what if I just say, he is rude, without being? Is that different?
Great question. Yes, it is different. If you say he is rude, it sounds like rude is just part of who he is, like his personality. It sounds permanent, like he's always rude.
Ah, I see. So he is rude sounds more permanent, like a description of his character.
Exactly. But he's being rude, that sounds temporary. Like maybe he's just having a bad day. Usually he's kind, but right now, tonight, he's acting rude.
Oh, that is a really important difference. So being shows us it's temporary. It's just the behavior right now.
Yes, being is about right now, temporary behavior, not permanent personality. Let's keep that in mind as we move to our next segment.
Great. Okay, our second segment is about something that confuses a lot of English learners, and that is the difference between be and being.
Yes, these two words look very similar. They are both from the verb to be, but they are used in very different ways. And once you understand the difference, it becomes much easier.
So let's start with be. We use be in commands. A command is when you tell someone to do something or to start doing something.
Right. So, for example, be careful.
Be careful. Yes, that is a command. Short, direct, you're telling someone right now, start being careful. Watch out. Pay attention.
Simple and direct. Now, compare that with being careless. If someone is already acting carelessly, you might say, stop being careless.
Stop being careless. Okay, so there, being careless describes what they are already doing. The action is happening right now, and you want it to stop.
Exactly. Be careful is the instruction. Please do this. Stop being careless is about their ongoing behavior. You are already doing this. Stop.
That is a really clear way to understand it. Let's try another pair of examples.
Okay, how about be quiet?
Be quiet. Yes, another command. Very short, very direct. You want someone to stop talking or making noise right now.
And now compare that with why are you being so loud?
Why are you being so loud? Okay, so here the person is already making a lot of noise. You are describing their current behavior, and you're asking why. It's more like a question or a comment.
Right, it is not a command this time. It's a question about an action that is already happening.
So a good way to remember this is if you are giving an instruction, use be. If you are talking about something that is already happening, use being.
That is a wonderful way to think about it. Be for instructions, being for ongoing actions.
And both are very common in everyday English, so it's really useful to know this difference.
Very useful. All right, shall we move on to our third and final segment?
Let's do it!
Okay, in our third segment, we will look at very common everyday expressions that use the word being, phrases that English speakers use all the time, very naturally.
And once you know these expressions, you'll start to hear them everywhere, in conversations, in movies, on TV, in music. They're everywhere.
Let's start with a warm and friendly one. Thank you for being here.
Oh, I love that phrase. Thank you for being here. It's so warm, so welcoming.
Right, being here means you are present in that place. You showed up and they appreciate that.
You might hear this at a meeting or a party, or at the beginning of a class or event.
Or even at the start of a podcast, like right now. Thank you for being here with us today.
We really do mean that. Okay, next expression.
Next one, being late is never fun.
Being late is never fun. Yes, we have all experienced this. You're running late, you're stressed, your heart is beating fast. It is definitely not fun.
So here, being late is the subject of the sentence. We're naming the experience of being late as a topic.
Ah, so being can start a sentence, and it works like a noun, like a concept or an activity.
Yes, in English we can use being plus an adjective or noun to name a state or situation, and then we describe it. It's a very natural and common structure.
Okay, let's try another one. I enjoy being outdoors.
Being outdoors describes the state of being outside, in nature, under the open sky, maybe in a park or a forest.
And the person enjoys that state, that feeling, that experience.
Exactly. I enjoy being outdoors sounds more natural than going outdoors. It captures the feeling of simply existing in that space.
It's about enjoying the experience of being in that place, not just the action of going there.
Yes, you got it. Here is another very good one. Being a parent is hard work.
Oh yes, being a parent is hard work. That is very, very true.
So here, being a parent is the topic. It names a role, a life situation, and then we describe that situation. It is hard work.
Right, and you can use this same structure with any role. Being a student is exciting. Being a teacher is rewarding. Being a doctor is very demanding.
Exactly. So being plus a noun, like a job or a role, is a very natural way to talk about what it is like to live in that role. It's a flexible and useful structure.
I like that. Very flexible. And our last expression for today?
And our last one, and I think this is a beautiful one, being yourself is important.
Oh, that is a beautiful phrase. Being yourself is important.
Being yourself means acting naturally, not pretending to be someone else, just existing as who you truly are, your real self.
And it is important, right? We should all feel comfortable being ourselves, not trying to copy someone else, just being who we are.
Absolutely. Being is not just grammar, it connects to real feelings and experiences. Being yourself, being here, being a parent, these are deep human ideas.
That is so true. Being is everywhere in English, and now our listeners know why.
Let's do a quick recap before we finish. In segment 1, we learned that being describes temporary behavior, something happening right now, not a permanent personality.
Right. He is being rude means rude behavior right now, not forever.
In segment 2, we learned the difference between be and being. We use be for commands and instructions, and being for ongoing actions that are already happening.
Be careful, instruction. Stop being careless, ongoing behavior, a simple and clear way to remember it.
And in segment 3, we saw how being can start a sentence as a topic. Being late is never fun. Being a parent is hard work. Being yourself is important. It names a state, a role, a way of existing.
So being is a very small word, but it carries a lot of meaning, and now you can use it with confidence.
Yes, with confidence. And with that, we wrap up today's episode.
It really was. We hope the word being feels a little more clear and friendly now.
Remember, learning a language takes time and patience, but every episode you're making real progress, and that's something to be proud of.
We are so happy to be on this journey with you. Thank you so much for listening to English Conversation Pods today.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe to English Conversation Pods so you never miss a new topic.
And if you know someone who is learning English, please share this podcast with them.
We'll be back very soon with another episode and another great topic.
So keep practicing, keep listening, and most importantly, keep being yourself.
See you in the next episode. Take care, everyone.